playing with me. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. It's been a long time, for a long time.
You know, fellas, it's ironic. He's Mr. Discount Double Check, because if he asked the 49ers if they needed any insurance, they certainly would have said yes, because nobody is more banged up than they are at this particular point. The San Francisco 49ers last night on Thursday Night Football in a 34-17 defeat to the Packers. Key, good morning. Good morning, Jay. They played without Jimmy G.
What's up?
George Kittle. Good morning. Raheem Mostert. Deebo Samuel.
Keep going.
Brandon Ayuk.
Keep going.
Trent Williams.
Tell me more.
Nick Bosa.
Say it again.
D Ford.
For the people in the back.
And the Pac-12's own Richard Sherman, as Key's Pac-12 is ready to go tomorrow. They played without all of them. But the problem is the Packers played with Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and a banged-up Aaron Jones, 34-17. I know, Key, it's a JV squad taking on the varsity last night with regard to talent. Aaron Rodgers said it after the game. He said, I don't feel sorry for them. They don't feel sorry for us.
Absolutely.
It's no big deal. They did what they had to do against whoever was facing them.
Absolutely. I mean, why would I? Because if it was on the flip side and the Packers are all beat up and bruised, and nobody would feel sorry for the Packers, right? I mean, Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay obviously took care of business. I mean, I didn't expect anything different. I didn't expect. Kyle Shanahan's done a tremendous job despite not having players in the lineup most of the season. When he started the season, he envisioned missing certain guys, and you look at it. This is just one of those years. It's one of those years for them where they just losing player after player each game after each game. But Kyle Shanahan's been able to muster up 4 victories, and that in itself is a good thing. They lose Jimmy Garoppolo, who was put on IR. Kittle was put on IR. Now you got Nick Mullen back there playing quarterback who, he get his feet wet for the next several weeks and see what he is. But what did you expect? I don't.
Zubin, Key is so predictable. So last night, it's 9:25.
I'm supposed to be predictable.
I'm in my bed with my wife. We're watching the game, and the text comes. First text, exactly, right? I just hear Key's voice saying exactly in my mind. I look at my wife. I said, oh, here we go. Here it comes. As I said, no, Rodgers doesn't need no damn wide receivers. I knew it. And I knew Key would go there. And Key, let's get into it, because everybody's going to look good against the 49ers, and having Devontae Adams back makes a world of a difference. I actually kind of agree with him that he's probably playing like the best wide receiver in the game right now. Having him back, nobody questions whether Aaron Rodgers can make people look great. Obviously, Devontae Adams makes himself look great, but still, it's still against the 49ers, right? And I know you're going to say that doesn't really matter, but still, it's easy to look good against the 49ers to a degree, considering they're still depleted, correct?
No.
So they took care of business, not taking anything away from what the Packers are doing, but can't you walk away from that game with a little bit of a fallacy saying, hey, just because we beat up on the Niners doesn't mean that we're that good yet. We haven't seen them against that great of competition yet. We saw them against the Bucs. We saw them against the Saints. Okay, small sample size. But still, we're going to get a chance to see them against the Colts in that real defense.
Who did they just lose to? Was it the Minnesota Vikings?
The Packers?
Was it Minnesota?
On Sunday, yes.
Didn't they run the ball down their throat?
Right.
Wasn't that supposed to be
Jay
the
mentioned
recipe?
yesterday.
Wasn't that supposed to be the recipe for success against Green Bay? San Francisco?
Who does San Fran have on their team that's like Dalvin Cook?
I'm just telling everybody that was out there saying that they were going to run the ball down their throat because their linebackers aren't very good and their defensive line doesn't stop the offensive linemen from getting up on the second wave of defenders. Look, they took care of business. They did what they were supposed to do. When a guy goes 25 for 31 and throws 4 touchdowns and had an opportunity to throw for 5, that means that things are clicking. It's flawless. It's smooth, no matter who you're putting out there. 49ers have won 4 games this year, and the games that they've won, they've beat up a couple good teams. Nobody says anything. It's like, oh, yeah, see what they did? The moment that they get shellacked by Green Bay, now Green Bay has to prove again that they're better than the Tampa Bay Bucks, or they're better than the New Orleans Saints, or they're better than Seattle. They continue to just keep moving things forward. If they would have lost this game, then now you worry about what it looks like against Chicago. Now, all of a sudden, Chicago's right there with you, lock and step, basically, as you would say, Zubin. Right?
Indeed.
I mean, you got to give the credit where it's due. Aaron Rodgers did not need any other wide receiver except his healthy one in Davante Adams. Lazard will be coming back at some point in time. And the reason I keep saying this over and over, because that's all we keep hearing. We keep hearing, trade deadline. Oh, they didn't get him any help. It's like, just chill. This dude, he got it under control. Losing to Minnesota had nothing to do with him not having a wide receiver. Just calm down.
Well, you mentioned Davante Adams. The numbers were great for Rodgers, as you said, 305, 4 touchdowns, fine. Aaron Jones's numbers were good too. He contributed off the calf injury, also caught 5 balls out of the backfield. But the numbers for Davante Adams were off the page. 10 catches, 173 yards, and a touchdown. After the game, Davante Adams was asked if he's the best wide receiver in football.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I think that's not being conceited. That's just being confident. I think obviously what I've done and what I'm going to continue to do is going to prove that to anybody who isn't on board with that. But I truly believe that just based off of the work that I put in. At the end of the day, I'll tell you, yes, absolutely. I think I'm the best wide receiver in the game, but there's a lot of things that go into me being able to make that statement.
That's the difference between the spoken word and the written word. If I saw that in the game story this morning on my phone, I'd be like, man, this dude's like Keyshawn Johnson. He's a modern day Keyshawn Johnson. But when you hear it, Key, the way he said it, the way the words came out, brash, backing it up, confident.
That wasn't that brash. That wasn't that brash.
That's the point. If you hear it, it doesn't sound that way. If you read that statement, you'd be like, hang on a second. So,
yeah, but that's the problem.
Right. But we heard it,
Yeah.
and it comes across a little differently. That said, is he the best wide receiver in the NFL? Who's your top 5? Who's on that list?
You could certainly put him up there as the top dude, depending on who you asking. Everything is semantics when it comes to receivers, man. It really, truly is. And there's nothing wrong with him saying it. I said it I wouldn't give a damn who was on the field, except Jerry Rice. When it came to other receivers, and you talk about other receivers, I'm like, okay, well, put me in a situation and watch what you get. I'm doing what I'm doing in the situation I'm in, and I'm still thriving regardless. I'm the Lone Ranger out here, and everybody knows it, and I'm still balling, much like Davante Adams. To answer your question about the top 5 guys.
Yeah, can I hear Keys give me the damn ball, top 5 wide receivers, instead of this guy that's talking to me about semantics right now?
If you allow me to get there, Jason, then I could explain to you why I go in the direction I go in.
We have 4 hours.
Number one, we only have a few minutes in this segment, just 2 seconds. Number one, obviously, is my nephew, period. That'll never change. I wouldn't give a damn what nobody say. It's nepotism, and it's alive and kicking.
Michael Thomas.
Once he's on the field, as I would call him now, Slant Mike, the dude that he got into the altercation with, allegedly called him Slant Mike. So if you paying me $20 million a year and you throwing me 170 balls and I'm catching 149 of them, I'll be Slant Mike too. So you got him number one.
Okay.
You got him number one. Number 2, DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, you could argue whatever. DeAndre's number 1, number 2, whatever. Julio Jones at 3, Davante Adams at 4, and young and emerging. And I've got to continue to see it. What I will see, he's averaging about 20 yards a catch, is DK Metcalf. Not DJ Metcalf, DK Metcalf out of Seattle. I like him a lot. I just he's got to continue to keep growing and keep getting better at. And now, once he continues to grow and get better at things, and he can run the route tree like all these other guys. The great thing about these guys that I just mentioned above DK, they all can run the route tree, which means from 1 to 9, they can run them all and run them with precision, quicks in and out of the breaks, all of those sort of things. And I think as you look and you put these guys on the board, if one falls off the board, you're happy with the other. That's just what you have. And then you say, well, what about Tyreek Hill? Tyreek Hill is put in a separate box for me. He's a special talent, so therefore he goes in a separate box, separate and above, because I can line him up at running back. I can fly sweep him. I could do a reverse with him. I could play action pass him. He can run a deep comeback. He can run a 20-yard curl. I mean, he's just in a different box. I don't even look at Tyreek Hill as a wide receiver. I look at him as a dominant specialist.
Yeah, that's when they recruit college guys. They just call him athlete. They don't call him wide receiver, running back.
He's a player. He's legit, but he's not my receiver.
And for those wondering, Devontae Adams, 53rd overall pick in the 2014 NFL draft. Hard to believe there would be 52 players better than Devontae Adams.
Just remember, my nephew's going to be one on every board, no matter. If he caught one ball, he's going to be number one.
He did catch 149 last year, like you said, a single season NFL record. And we're asking on the Dr. Pepper Twitter feed this morning, if you're watching on ESPN News, Smiling Key, ready to go. Who's the best wide receiver in the NFL? Be a part of the Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin Nation on the Dr. Pepper Twitter feed. ESPN Nation presented by Dr. Pepper. It's official. College football's back. So's your favorite Dr. Pepper loving college football town, Fansville. Head to a store near you to treat your inner college football fan to an ice cold 20-ounce Dr. Pepper today. Again, 888-SAY-ESPN, Key, J, and Z. Simply put, who's the best receiver in the NFL? Key says his nephew, Michael Thomas. We want to hear from you. Key, you got something?
I need him to change that picture, though. That profile picture. Because I look like a fake lawyer.